Today, we're going to work with a set of business expressions that you'll hear all the time in meetings, negotiations, and informal discussions at work, especially in English-speaking corporate environments. What's important here is not just knowing what these expressions mean, but understanding how they sound when spoken naturally and when it's appropriate to use them. Let's start with the expression to cut back. This is typically used when a company or individual decides to reduce spending, effort, or activity, often because of budget pressure or a strategic change. To give you a sense of how this sounds in real business conversations, here are a few ways it might come up. The company decided to cut back on non-essential travel. After the expansion phase, they had to cut back significantly. Now, reducing costs is one thing, but making promises is another. That brings us nicely to the next expression. When we say someone follows through, we're talking about whether they actually do what they said they would do. At an advanced level, this phrase often carries an unspoken evaluation of someone's reliability. You might hear it used like this in professional settings. He made ambitious commitments, but didn't follow through. Clients trust leaders who consistently follow through. And of course, before following through, you first need to start. Which leads us to the next expression. To get to it simply means to finally begin working on something, often after delays or discussion. Depending on tone, it can sound neutral or slightly impatient. Here's how it might sound in context. Let's stop discussing the issue and get to it. I'll get to it as soon as I finish this report. Sometimes, though, starting something isn't enough. People also need advance warning. That's where this next expression comes in. To give someone a heads up means to inform them in advance, usually to help them prepare. It's a very common phrase in emails and spoken updates, and it signals professionalism and consideration. You'll often hear it used like this. Just a heads up. The agenda has changed slightly. I wanted to give you a heads up before the announcement goes out. Now let's shift from preparation to success. Sometimes success comes very quickly. When something happens hand over fist, it happens extremely fast, usually in reference to profits, growth, or success. The phrase is informal, but very common in spoken business English. For example, they were making money hand over fist during the boom. Investors came in hand over fist after the IPO. And success like that often means there's momentum, which brings us to this next phrase. When we say we have something going, we mean there's ongoing progress or a promising situation, without being too specific. It's often used deliberately because it sounds diplomatic and flexible. Here's how it might appear. We've got something good going with this client. She has several projects going right now. Of course, when things are going well, competitors may try to interfere, especially with staff. Poaching people refers to recruiting employees directly from other companies, often competitors. It usually carries a slightly negative or aggressive tone. In real conversation, you might hear, "They're poaching people from our engineering team." Big firms are constantly poaching talent from startups. When changes like that are happening, communication becomes crucial, which brings us to the next expression. To keep someone posted means to provide regular updates. It's extremely common in project management and email communication. For instance, I'll keep you posted as things develop. Please keep me posted if anything changes. Now, sometimes instead of immediate answers, companies promise investigation. To look into means to investigate or examine an issue, often without committing to a specific result yet. It's frequently used as a diplomatic response. You might hear, "We'll look into the issue and follow up." The board agreed to look into alternative options. Occasionally, though, investigations turn into success stories. When someone is on a tear, they're experiencing a strong, sustained period of success. The tone is energetic and informal, but widely understood. Examples include, The sales team has been on a tear this quarter. She's on a tear. Every deal is closing. Before moving too fast, however, teams often need alignment. To be on the same page means to share the same understanding or expectations. It's especially useful for preventing confusion. You'll often hear, "Let's make sure we're on the same page before we proceed." It seems we're not on the same page about deadlines. And alignment usually goes hand in hand with organization. If someone is on top of things, they're organized, informed, and in control. This phrase often appears in performance discussions. For example, "She's clearly on top of things. Don't worry, I'm on top of it." Once everyone is aligned and organized, ideas can finally be proposed. To put forward means to formally propose an idea or plan. It sounds more professional than suggest. You might hear, "Several ideas were put forward during the meeting." She put forward a bold alternative strategy. Sometimes, however, proposals don't survive public reaction. Rowing back describes softening or reversing an earlier position, often after criticism or new information. In context, management is rowing back on earlier statements. He rowed back after public backlash. And finally, after all discussions and negotiations, responsibility shifts. When we say the ball is in your court, we mean it's now the other person's responsibility to act or decide. You'll hear this frequently in negotiations. "We've made our offer. The ball is in your court. I've done my part. The next step is yours." These expressions help you sound confident, fluent, and professionally aware. The more naturally you use them, the more natural your English will sound in real business settings. Do you like my style of English lessons? Hit the subscribe button, and I'll notify you when a new lesson is posted.